Hey there guys, welcome to today's video, and in today's video we will be comparing the OnePlus 9 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro. And the reason I chose these two phones are because they're pretty much the highest end and the best of the best that both companies can offer, besides the iPhone 12 Pro being one under the iPhone 12 Pro Max. But they're also similar in price. There's only a $30 difference between the two. And overall, the specs looks pretty similar, so I decided that we could check these out and compare them. All right, so their starting price is only about like a $30 difference, as I stated before. But the thing that you have in the OnePlus 9 Pro is that you have a 0.6 inch bigger screen, and it's an AMOLED, while the iPhone 12 Pro only has an OLED. And it also goes from 1 hertz to 120 hertz for the 9 Pro and 60 hertz max and minimum for the iPhone 12 Pro. So the reason it says 1 hertz to 120 hertz would be because the phone can adjust its refresh rate based on how much is needed. So basically, if you were scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, you would need about like 60 to 90 hertz. And if you were doing something less intensive, like let's say just like on a still screen, like I am right now, you would need about 1 hertz. You don't really need to refresh that much. And especially videos and gaming needs like 120 hertz at least. So both CPUs are the max that they can offer. Snapdragon 888, which is like the best of the best for Snapdragon. And the A14 Bionic, like always, is Apple's best chip. And the iPhone 12 Pro comes in 6 gigabytes of RAM, and the OnePlus 9 Pro comes in 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it can also come in 12 gigabytes of RAM. So it has more RAM either way. But the thing about iPhones is that even if they don't have as much RAM, their software makes up for it, so that even if it feels like there's less RAM, it is faster though, so I wouldn't say there's a big difference, even if there's twice as much RAM in the OnePlus 9 Pro. So the price configurations are pretty similar, except the iPhone 12 Pro offers a 512 gigabyte model that the OnePlus does not. So the max for the OnePlus would be 256 gigabytes. They both don't have micro SD expandable storage. They have a 48 megapixel wide camera for the back, a 50 megapixel ultra wide, and an 8 megapixel telephoto. So that is a much higher megapixel comparison to the iPhone, because the iPhone only has a 12 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel telephoto. So all three cameras are 12 megapixel, but that does mean that there is going to be a consistent change between them. So if you were to switch through different camera modes, you wouldn't see a difference in quality like you would before, with the ultra wide being a bit less better as quality wide. But in the OnePlus 9 Pro, you do have bigger megapixel for each of them besides the telephoto. And the front camera is a 16 megapixel f2.4 for the OnePlus and the 12 megapixel for the iPhone. But again, the software makes up for it, so you don't really feel like a big difference. And they both have a IP68 rating, but iPhone has a 6-meter rating, while the OnePlus only has a 1.5 meter. And then the iPhone falls again here, where it is that the OnePlus has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, and the iPhone only has a 2,815 mega milliamps per hour battery. So it's almost twice as less. About like that's gonna be around 1,300 ish. I can't tell you the exact number right now, but that's a lot less. So, but the thing is that, again, software, Apple's strong with their software. They're going to use it wherever they can. And the chip, the A14 Bionic chip, especially that is very power efficient. So you shouldn't see, they both have all day battery life, so you shouldn't see a big difference. Like you can see here, it has a 10-hour 40-minute battery life with 120 hertz, and 10-hour 38-minute battery life with 60 hertz, which is weird because it should have a higher battery life with less refresh rate, but it doesn't do that. It actually has a 2-minute higher battery life with highest refresh rate, which is weird. The iPhone has a 9-hour 6-minute battery life, and that might seem like a big difference, but it's only about an hour, and compared to the milliamp hour difference here, it doesn't feel like much. So like I said, the CPU is just strong with the iPhone, so if they had a bigger battery, it could beat it any day. And the weight is about the same, except it's about a 0.3 ounce difference. And the height and dimensions are the same almost for everything, but the height is 6.4 for the OnePlus and 5.78 for the iPhone. And the width is about the same. Honestly, there's not much of a difference, and the thickness, there's about a slight difference that, I mean, you would probably feel it, just 0.05 inches of a difference, so depends on how sensitive you are. But here, this website also shows you everywhere that you can get this phone, and you can see that the OnePlus is like going anywhere from about, let's see, the max it gets is $1,300 at Amazon, and the least you can get it for as of right now would be Amazon itself again, but it's only $9.39 there. So I also have another website here that I can show you guys, and that would be this one. And this website here actually gives you a better look at the phone. So this is the front of the phones, guys, and this is the side of the phone. And here you can also see that they have a bit more differences. Like here it says OLED when in the other website it said AMOLED OLED. They both have a same screen size. Oh yeah, this is the Pro, by the way. This is the Pro Max, not the Pro. But it can give you a better look at the phones here. So that's also why the price here, though. The thing I noticed was pretty weird was that the price for the OnePlus, as they were showing in this website, was only 729 for the normal and about 1069 for the max, the Pro, I mean. So you can see if you guys want the normal 9 or the 9 Pro, honestly, there's not a big difference between them. So if I were you, I would get the 9, but it also is on personal preference.